The Oklahoma City bombing became Oklahoma's Pearl Harbor. It's something that's just there in our psyche. You know, it is there.
50 to 900 people inside the building, which houses a number of federal.
Getting closer to the site, you realize how big an event that was. I mean,
I couldn't believe it. It was very disturbing and upsetting. It still is to me today.
Seeing the building was kind of stunning, but when you talk to people, that really put a human face on it. And it wasn't a building that had been blown up, and it wasn't an investigation. I mean, these were people's lives, and that was an awful part of that whole week to 2 weeks that we spent down there.
As soon as I hung up the phone, it rang again. I answered it. It's one of those crazy mornings when the phone's constantly ringing. And it was the executive editor, Joe Worley. And he said, Wayne, are you watching television? And I said, no, I'm not. And he said, turn on the TV.
We'd been told that something had happened. I didn't know what it was. I needed to go check it out.
And I turned it on, and there was the picture we've all seen of the Murrah building with the front of it blown away and flames shooting out of it.
There's a picture of me with my hand on my hip just staring vacantly at the TV, and it was just a lot of just disbelief and shock, and people watching TV and shaking their heads, and no one really knew. It was just unbelievable.
Then as it started to unfold in that next 24 hours, I mean, I, like everyone else, was absolutely stunned.
There was about 2 or 3 blocks west of the Murrah building, and you could look up the street and then you could just see the building was just demolished.
busted glass, cars, you know, some of them had windows busted out.
But the glass was so fine. I mean, it was like walking on sand. The glass had been blown into pieces so tiny.
A lot of dust, and it was just a mess.
And the thing that was pretty eerie about that whole, both at the building and at St. Anthony's, was they had all these medical people waiting. Like the building, they had ambulances lined up all along there, but they never took anybody out the whole time I was there. I saw them carrying, body bags out, but I never saw them. And it was just, at that building, it was just completely silent.
And you could always tell whether they were coming or going. I mean, when guys were walking down to it, they were eager to get down to it, and then you'd see guys walking back, and they looked like, they had seen some horrific, horrible things. And it was pretty evident that they were seeing some things that they didn't want to talk about, and I didn't want to ask about. So
I remember one of the rescuers from Georgia telling me that his dog was depressed because he wasn't finding anybody alive. These dogs were used to finding, they were rescue dogs.
I think everybody who was there had the experience where you'd work a while and then you'd cry a while. I mean, it was very hard not to be affected by it. The human level, and the fact that all these people are dead, and and you're realizing these people are a lot like us.
these were their neighbors. I mean, these were the people they lived next door to. These were their friends, the people they went to church with, the people they, went out to eat with, the people they had over to play cards.
I can't imagine what it would be like. He said, you have kids. What would it be like if tonight you didn't know where they were and they'd been in that building? And it brought home the fact that it only takes one really angry person to do a lot of harm.
It was Timothy McVeigh, and it defies reality that one person could create this much heartache and damage, but it's true, and he did, and so it's, as I say, it's taught me to believe the unbelievable. I mean, this was the most litigated criminal trial in American history up until that point. The investigation was so large, 10,000 FBI agents, 100,000 pieces of tangible evidence, 25,000 witness statements, 350 audio cassettes, 500 video cassettes, 3,000 photographs. You know, he was an ideologue, but he was also a sociopath. And there's a difference. There's a lot of people that are ideologues that aren't sociopaths. And he happened to be both. And it was a lethal combination.
And I think as a person it changed me just in terms of knowing, you know, that evil really walks right among us, and it's not necessarily the face that you think it is. It's not necessarily a Muslim extremist. It can be a decorated Army veteran.
Why someone would do this, who knows? I mean, makes no sense to me.
It's hard to say what came from Oklahoma City and what came from 9/11, but I'm very sensitive to extremist political talk. You realize that the extreme rhetoric, which our society is very prone to right now, is very dangerous.
Oklahoma City really worked together on that, and they've done a lot of wonderful things, but they haven't been able to bring any of those 168 people back.
And that's 168 families that will never be the same.
There was tremendous evil in this, but there was tremendous good. And, you know, I think about how well Oklahoma was regarded during this, you know, how helpful people were. And
They've done a tremendous job in saying we're going to come out of this and have a better city, and I think they have.
All of America saw, you know, what we all know is great about Oklahoma, and that's just the good salt of the earth people that help each other when they're down. And that's not just some kind of hokey, you know, thing that I'm saying. It was like really played out in reality on national TV. So I was really proud of this state, and it confirmed everything that I love about this state.